On this episode...
Do you have any idea where the battery is?
No idea.
Fortunately, that's nothing a 5-pound sledgehammer can't fix. Yeah, I think that you'll be very comfy there. See you in a minute.
Hi, we're Becky and Austin.
We spent 4 months and $8,000 turning this empty shell into a home equipped for full-time living.
We're going to show you how. Welcome to Lifepothesis. Now that we've bought our van and brought it back home, we're going to dive right in. First up is inspecting the van and doing maintenance on items that need to be fixed. Then we get to the really fun part, demolition. A plumber owned this van before we bought it, and we're going to tear out all these shelves to create a blank slate for our build-out. After that, we're going to tape out our layout inside and see how we like it.
We did an inspection of the van before we bought it, and now that the van is in our driveway, we have the opportunity to see exactly what we've gotten ourselves into. Doing maintenance on your van is not as glamorous as building out the inside, but it's absolutely critical to have a solid foundation to your build before you put hundreds of hours into it. This is a 10-year-old van, so we know there will be a few maintenance items we'll need to address. We decided not to change the oil since it was already changed at the dealer before we bought the van. I checked the brake pads and rotors too. They were also replaced at the dealer, which is a big plus. The valve stem in the front driver's side tire was leaking, so we spent $25 to get it sealed, and now it's as good as new. I took off the lug nuts, lubricated them, and put them back on, so if we have to change a tire on the road, they're not stuck. I also made sure the spare tire was aired up and had plenty of tread.
So I like to consider myself a car guy. So it's with a whole bunch of humility that I admit that I actually have no idea where the battery on this van is. There's the ECU, there's the brake booster. Coming across the other side, I don't see any battery over here either. Is it in here? How about in here? A bunch of little hidey holes in here, but no battery. Hey Becky, do you have any idea where the battery is?
No idea at all.
Is it under here? Ooh. Oh, I think I might have found it. I bet we can access that from the top. Found an ancient ruin leading me in the correct direction. All right, moment of truth. Here it is. My journey to the battery is complete. Ooh, that's a big one.
I wanted to find the battery to make sure that it was in good condition, and because eventually I'll need to connect the living space electrical system to it.
After checking on the basic maintenance items of the van, we made a note of anything that was broken or we wanted to change before we started construction. This is the fix-it list.
If I just grab the hood and I pull, it'll bend this prop. And that's exactly what someone did. Fortunately, it's really easy to fix. Marvelous. The problem is, it has to thread into this little hole. And in order to get a nut on the back side of that hole, you have to go in through this little gap over here. Back there. And the only way to do that is to take off the headlight. And the only way to do that is to take off this little metal trim piece. And the only way to do that is to take off the entire grill. I had to take the headlight out, but that finally gives me access to this little pocket I was talking about. Of course, this all could have been avoided if we heeded this, well, if the previous owner heeded this warning. It's getting a little late. I think we're gonna break for lunch. See you in a minute. We've got a utility vehicle that's about 23 feet long with no rear view mirror, no back windows, no backup camera. So backing into things has got to be pretty common. It's pretty clear that this has been taking all the impact of the years of these plumbers backing into something. Fortunately, that's nothing a 5-pound sledgehammer can't fix.
Don't forget to spray paint the metal after wire brushing it to prevent the rust from spreading.
Nice and straight, mostly.
These are the stops for the back doors, and they were bent from people closing the rear doors improperly over the years, which eventually caused some damage to the taillights. All I had to do was straighten them out, and that solved the problem. We also replaced the missing clips for our headliner. You can buy these body clips on Amazon, and it's actually pretty handy to have a bag of them. They're designed to be reusable, but they almost always break when you take them out.
Perfect.
The headlights in our 2010 van were foggy and yellowed. Instead of leaving them that way or buying new ones to replace them, Austin put in some elbow grease and buffed them up himself. The result was stunning. They look brand new.
The first time it rained, we realized our windshield leaks. I pulled up the rubber seal, squirted urethane window sealant underneath, then pressed the seal back down, cleaning off the excess with a rag.
At this point, we were waiting for parts to arrive, so we occupied our time with some aesthetic fixes, like plasti dipping our grill. The grill was a little scuffed when we got it, so we peeled off all the old black plasti dip, covered all the pieces we didn't want to get painted, and resprayed the grill. Since we're going to spend a lot of time in the cab, we wanted to look as nice as possible and be comfortable for long drives. We also added some functional improvements.
Our steering wheel was really messed up from years of use as a work van with greasy hands, so we bought the steering wheel cover from Amazon for $18 and I sewed it on for a brand new look and feel.
Austin has applied window tint before on his cars, so we decided that we wanted to try a DIY installation to save some money. The 35% ceramic tint for the two front windows cost us about $48 on Amazon. A professional installation would cost about $450. So by doing it ourselves, we saved about $400. That being said, we don't recommend you install your own window tint. It was a very frustrating and difficult process, even though Austin had done it several times before. Some things are worth the money. Now is the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to get these ugly shelves out of here. We were careful during the demolition to keep as many 2x4s intact as possible. Salvaging building materials helped us save a ton of money on this build. We removed the particle board with sledgehammers because it was too low quality to use. We also discarded pieces of the 2x4s that were too mangled or too full of screws.
Alright, it's starting to rain, but we're just finishing up. We just finished the demolition and chopping up the wood and getting all the nails out of the pieces we were keeping. And so we're putting the pieces that we're saving into the shed, finishing chopping everything up so it can be disposed of. And I think we're going to call it a day.
Our van came with a kit that included plastic wall coverings. We removed the coverings, dusted and cleaned the walls, and we're happy to find that there was no rust or damage underneath the covers. It seems like they did their job. We lifted the back section of the floor up and discovered that it was already insulated. So, while we had it lifted up, we vacuumed it out, sealed the holes with RTV sealant, and sprayed any rust with spray paint.
Before we broke ground on the build, I had the idea of using masking tape to tape out where everything was going to be in the van. This really helped give us an idea of how the space would feel once we built out the van. It was especially helpful for visualizing how large our main components, like the bed, couch, and kitchen, would be.
Then, we decided that tape on the floor was not good enough, and I suggested that we model in real-life 3D. So, we started stringing masking tape in every direction to simulate the space that the cabinets and the bed would take up. You can do this with boxes, but we found this to be a quick and easy way to get a sense of the space within our design. We decided we loved our layout, and we didn't need to change anything.
We are so ready to get started with this build.
In the first 7 days of our van build, we spent 81.5 hours and $524. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more van build videos.